Welcome back. I'm Cody, the Rad Retro Dad, and today I'm going to be talking about a video game that me and my son have been developing using AI. And I know what you're thinking. AI? Trust me, it's really good. Stick around and I'll show you how I did it.
Come on, let's all go to the Rad Retro Show. Master of the Retroverse, he's the Rad Retro Dad. He's the Rad Retro Dad.
All right, guys, if you're still watching, even though I use the words AI in my intro, I appreciate it. I think you're going to be treated today. I have something really cool to share with you. But before we get into what me and my kids have created using AI, check this out. The Master of the Retroverse t-shirt. Are you a master of the Retroverse? If so, click the link below to my Etsy shop and order your Master of the Retroverse t-shirt. Now, maybe you're not a master of the Retroverse, but you are a pretty retro guy. Check this out. Retro Dad hat. The Retro Dad trucker hat. Sorry, my hair. Oh, and if you didn't know, I actually do have long hair. I hide it behind a hat all the time. And the proper way to wear the Retro Dad trucker hat, obviously, is backwards. You can wear it other ways, but if you want the respect of your children, wear it backwards. Hopefully, I'm still the cool dad after making that statement. All right. Enough of that. Links in the description. Go check it out. There might be a couple other surprises there for you to look at as well. So let's talk about what we created. We created a game called Interstellar Sandbox. And as the name suggests, it is a sandbox style simulation game. And the inspiration for this game came from the Clark Planetarium in Utah. If you've never been to the Clark Planetarium in Salt Lake City, Utah, go check it out. They have a game there that's on like a 50-inch touchscreen television that's mounted like a table called Stellar Playground. And this game, the kids love it. They just, every time we make a trip out to the city, out to Salt Lake, they beg me to go to the Clark Planetarium and let them play that game. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. It's free. You might have to pay for parking, unless you're lucky, but you don't have to pay to get into the Clark Planetarium. It's free. So that's our inspiration for the game. And we did not copy their game, just so you know. We took the concept of their game and we just kind of blew it out of the water. We kind of put every crazy idea that we could think of into it. And I want to make a disclaimer here. Even though we used AI to program this video game, every single idea in this game is a product of me and my kids brainstorming ideas. We did not use AI to come up with the ideas that are in this game. Now, we may have asked AI, is this possible to do in the game? We had to kind of like take our ideas and kind of cap them a little bit, keep it within the scope of what was capable here. The reason that I chose to do this project with my kids is because I want to teach them how to properly use AI tools. I don't want them to learn it from some stranger at school that I don't really know, or from their friends. You don't want your kids as friends teaching them this kind of stuff, because so with AI and creating with AI, you're limited only by your own imagination, and our kids' imaginations are way bigger than ours. FYI. So as a parent, I want to be able to control the environment where my kids learn about these powerful tools. And our kids are racing very quickly into a very technologically advanced future. And so are we as parents. If we don't learn, we're left behind. And even now, AI is becoming a huge part of our society. You almost can't even search the internet without an AI saying, "Oh, well, here's a better result." That can be a good or a bad thing, depending on how AI is used. And as a parent, I want to teach my kids how to properly use these tools, these very, very powerful tools. You should be teaching your kids this too. And the only way to teach your kids that is if you learn it yourself. And that's what I've been doing. I've been learning AI tools the last year of my life and kind of experimenting with how they are used and how I can apply them into my own life. And I got to say, one of the biggest applications that I've used is not only just programming video games, but I've utilized it to create like web programs that will help me be informed of like new retro stuff that's coming out, so I can share it with you guys and keep delivering you guys awesome content. If I didn't have AI, I don't know if I would be able to run this YouTube channel the way to the magnitude that I am. As an adult with kids, I have a huge amount of responsibility to them and to all of my family. I can say that without AI tools, I don't think I would be able to deliver you guys the content that I do. Now, that does not say that you're looking at an AI version of me while I'm out doing something else. All my content I record myself. I use AI to create custom graphics, to discover new ideas for the channel, so that I don't have to spend hours and hours and hours doing it. Even if I wasn't running a YouTube channel, I would still use them because it keeps me informed. I like to be informed of all the cool new stuff that's coming out. So, with that being said, let's move on to our game, Interstellar Sandbox. So let's jump into it and take a look. All right, guys, so here I am at my computer, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to load up the latest version of this game. And as you can see, it is called Interstellar Sandbox 194. And that literally means 194 versions of this game. It has not been an easy process to do this. It's been very time consuming, especially how busy I've been. I've been working on this for a while now, and just kind of on my spare time, which is sometimes limited. Anyways, we'll get into how I created this game, but let's take a look at the gameplay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to load it up. And this game is an HTML5 JavaScript game. And I've got a couple intro splash screen videos here. I have my itch.io retro arcade logo. Did a little animation of it, and then I had like I used AI to animate the poster for Interstellar Sandbox. I don't think I'm going to leave it there. I just wanted to see if AI would allow me to put splash screens on it, and it did. So we are first greeted with a very cool little menu here, title screen. And as you can see, there's like a star field that's gently scrolling by in the background. And then we have new universe or load universe, and then exit game. So when this is all complete, I will compile it into an Windows executable file. And when you open it, it'll open it up full screen. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put it into full screen here. And the way that you do that on a browser is just F11. So now that we're in full screen, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do new universe. And you can hit the escape button and save your universe at any point. You can also load it up a previous version of your universe at any point. And it doesn't function as like a traditional game save. it will save it to your downloads folder, and then you can go and you can move those files anywhere you want. And when you click load, it will just open up a window that you can go and open up the file. All right, so let's resume. So when you first start the game, you are greeted with basically just 1 star. It gives you 1 star to start your universe. And down here is the toolbox. You've got small, medium, large planets. You've got gas giant, and you've got yellow star. And that's all you're given. And you utilize these to kind of open the game up. And I'm not going to show you every secret in the game. I'm going to show you the game mechanics, how it works, and if you want to try it yourself, a link will be in the description to my itch.io website or page, and you will be able to play this for yourself. I think I'm going to offer it for free for a little while, and then it will be a paid download. I haven't decided on that yet, because this is a very large and complex simulation program. All right, so at the top of the screen, you have a brief description of your controls, and I actually left one off, and that's to bring up the context menu. You have to click an object, and it will bring up your options for that object. I left that off of the controls up at the top, but the controls for this game are fairly simple. You use a mouse to play this game. So you can click to place an object, and you can, like so, and you can click to click and drag, and you can move the objects around. You use the mouse wheel to zoom out and to zoom in. We're going to leave it about right there. And then you use the right mouse to kind of pan around. Let me put a couple objects out there. So now I can pan around. The other thing is if you push the middle mouse button down and you drag, you can see that it kind of gives you an arrow and then a little dotted line to show you how far. And then if you pull it out, the further you do it, the faster your object will fling, and this will fling your object. And you can make them collide. Now you don't need to do that, because in the game, if we place a planet right here around this star, you can see that the orbit starts to degrade, so to say, and it will eventually collide into the planet. I didn't want it to be super fast, but the further out you get, the slower it falls. The closer you get, the faster it falls. Okay, so I'm going to put a planet out here, and I'm going to do a gas giant so it's a little bit easier to see. So we got a gas giant, and if you click that gas giant, you can lock it in place, and it will just stay right there where it's at. This is important for creating complex solar systems in the game, and I'll get into that in a second. So if we pull it back up, we also have the option to orbit strongest. So because gravity is like the mechanic in the game, so to say, then everything reacts to everything else in the universe. So if you click orbit strongest, what that means is that it will start orbiting the object with the strongest gravitational pull. Using all kinds of scientific words today. So let's delete that and pick just kind of a large planet. And we're going to have one orbit out here. And you can see it's a nice gradual orbit. We're going to do one at the midpoint orbit. And you can see that the closer you have them orbit, it's slightly faster. So even getting super close in orbit. And then let's get an even smaller planet here. Let its walk it. Let's move it right next to it, click it, and have it orbit. So the closer the object is to the star or whatever, the faster it will orbit. Now, another thing that we added, because it's hard sometimes, especially to catch these little teeny ones, if you wanted to move them or pluck them out. So if you click it and drag it, it'll just stop orbiting, and you can take it and have it orbit or do whatever you want with it. So if we click the star itself, we now that it's a solar system, we actually have a new option called Edit Solar System. And if you click Edit Solar System, it will pause that solar system, and you can edit this solar system in any way that you want. So you can move those planets and have them like super close, and then hit resume. And now it is orbiting almost next to the surface of that star. Again, edit solar system, and you can move it, and you can see that the orbit will retain no matter what. So if you move it clear out here, the orbit changes, it goes slower, but now it's in a new position. So that was solar systems. Now I've got another lonely star out here, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna lock it in place, and I'm gonna take and zoom in here a little bit, and I'm gonna take a planet, a small planet, and I'm just gonna let it collide into that star. Now if you look down here, it says 1 of 5. Now that I've dropped that in, that means that you have activated what we call recipes. And this is the way that you create new stellar objects in your universe. And so it has 1 of 5. So let's go ahead and let's drop 4 more in there. And here's the last one. And you can see that it changed and it did an effect. And now it says, no longer says yellow star, it says white dwarf. And if you look right here in our toolbox, we now have white dwarf. And I accidentally made a blue giant earlier. And I'll show you how to do that. So you take a yellow star, lock it in place, and you take a couple rocky planets, and now you have a blue giant. And a red giant is made similar. Lock that in place, but this time we're gonna take a couple gas giants. And now you have a red giant. And as you can see, as you create these new stars, they appear in your tool set. So we can take this red and make a red giant. We can click the blue giant, and we can make a blue giant, and we can put it out there. And as you can see, they're all reacting to each other because gravity is always present in the game. And you can just kind of let them collide, or you can intentionally collide them. And that actually caused that star, because it got so much mass, to go supernova. And there are supernovas that create black holes, and there are some that will just destroy the star itself. And that was one that would destroy the star. All right, so let's delete that. Let's put a yellow star out here, lock it in place, and I'm gonna put a few of them out here. So now that we've got like 4, I'm going to place a few planets around them. Have a few planets orbiting. Just to give you guys a little taste of what this game is capable of doing. And so we've got a nice little system of stars here, right? And I want to show you, we're just going to let these go for a while. I'm going to move off to the side. I'm going to put another star out here. Let's do a blue giant. We'll lock a blue giant in place. And then we can have like a yellow star and we're going to have it orbit strongest. And I'm going to edit this solar system, move it out there, and resume. And now I'm going to take like a medium planet, and I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to say orbit strongest. And because it was closest, the gravity of this star was stronger than the gravity of this blue giant, this planet orbited that star. And now we can move even closer into this one. We can put, let's say, a small planet and orbit, get it really close in orbit. Now this planet has a moon. So we can get like super complex with our solar systems. So let's pull a red giant out, and we're going to lock it in place. And let's say to this blue giant, orbit strongest. Oh, it picked the wrong one. Let's get it close to this red giant, orbit strongest. Now, that blue giant is orbiting that red giant, and this yellow star is orbiting the blue giant, and the planet is orbiting the yellow star with a moon orbiting it. And you could do this infinitely. You can create like a huge spider web of a solar system, which I think is kind of fun. It lets you kind of like create cool things. And as you start creating this, and events will start happening naturally, like planets will collide and stars will collide, and you'll start to see your universe kind of come alive naturally, and see different stars and different things appear in your galaxy or in your universe. So let's move back over here and let's see what's happened. So here's our little system, and as you can see, these planets now have labels, and you can see this one says landwalkers, and this one right here says mammals. These planets, but you notice that this one does not. Every star, most stars in the simulation have a habitable zone. And if you place that planet inside the habitable zone of the star, it will start to evolve. Life will start to evolve on it. And like I said, I'm not going to reveal all secrets in this game. But let me just tell you that the evolutionary process of life on these planets goes far beyond what you're thinking. And as you build your universe, you get to watch it spring to life. And it is super fun to do. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to show you right now. These say civilization. They can progress quite a ways. So there's a couple different mechanics here. You've got gravity as a mechanic, and you've got what we call the recipes. And these recipes, you use them to create all kinds of different stellar objects. And I'll let you guys experiment with that a bit. But there are a lot. And we're going to actually add a lot more before we post this on itch.io. It should be available before the end of the year, I would say, on itch.io. But we've still got a lot to do. If any of you guys are interested in becoming a playtester for this game, leave a comment below. I'm going to do about 10 playtesters. So if you want to playtest this game for me, what you'll get is you'll get a digital copy of the game. And when the final version of the game releases, I will actually give you the final version of the game for free as well. You will get a free version of the game, plus you will get a full manual that will explain every single mechanic, every single recipe, every single evolutionary process that you can create in this game. And what I'll do is I will give you like a questionnaire that you answer, and give me your honest opinion. List any errors or bugs or anything that you come across as you're testing it. Kind of like a beta test. But as you can see, it's in a very playable state. Let's look at the folder. I have kept every version of this game, and you can see that it used to be called Space Playground. That was the name of the game that the AI gave it. It's not the name that we wanted, but we were at a stage where we weren't thinking about what we wanted to call it. So we went through 66 versions of the game before we got it to a state that we felt was playable and was fun. And at that point, we came up with a name, Interstellar Sandbox. And from that point on, from version 67 all the way to version 194, it is now called Interstellar Sandbox. The AI platform that we chose to use is Google AI Studio. And if you want to try creating a game yourself, I would suggest starting with Google AI Studio. For one, it's a completely free platform, and it's very powerful. All right, so here we are in Google AI Studio, and again, I'll leave a link in the description. I want to point out a few things. So when you do a chat, you just start down the bottom, and you got to make sure that you have the right AI. I don't know what they call this, like AI bot, AI platform, but there are different kinds. You can see if you click this box up in the corner, and mine says Gemini Flash Latest. That's the one that I'm using, but yours may say something different. So just click this box, and this gives you a list of all the AI platforms, or I don't know what they're called. We're just going to say platforms, AI platforms that are available to you. Now, Nano Banana is a image generating AI platform. Then there's Gemini 2.5 Pro, and you can see that there's like little descriptions underneath them. And the one that I use is Gemini Flash Latest, and it seems to be the most direct. You don't have to really have a conversation with the AI when using the Gemini Flash Latest. It is kind of like a conversation, but the Gemini 2.5 Pro, it's more like talking to a person. It's kind of hard to explain. So I use Gemini Flash Latest mainly because I just get better results doing with this method. The very first thing I'm going to do before I even create a prompt for a game is I'm going to come up with an idea. I'm going to create a game here. I'm just going to create a Tetris style game just to kind of show you how it works. I'm going to construct a prompt here. I'm going to say, please create me a, and then you're going to use what kind of a platform you want your game to be on. We're going to just do HTML for simplicity. An HTML5 game that is similar to Tetris, but add in a gravity mechanic that will allow loose blocks to fall and fill in gaps. Period. Enter. And now it's going to think about it for a while. Only think about it for just a minute. And then it will give a quick description. We'll read it after it's done. And then it just starts busting out code. And it won't always like give you the entire code. So if it doesn't, it gives it to you in pieces. And I'll show you what I mean. Is it gave chunks of code here. And you can say, okay, here's the JavaScript. And then here's the HTML structure. So it did program the game, but it didn't give you an entire functioning game yet. So now your next prompt will be, can you please make this into a fully playable game and display me the code so I can copy and paste it, period. Oh, question mark, enter. And again, it's going to do some thinking. And then it's going to start spitting out code again. And you just wait for it to finish. Won't take very long, depending on the game. It takes quite a while with our Interstellar Sandbox now that we've added so many features to it. But this is just going to be a basic game. It's just going to give you a basic structure for a game. So now it's done. What you're going to do is you're going to just highlight all of this text all the way to the top of the prompt. And don't copy this HTML. Just copy it to the doc type. And copy. Now we're going to open up Notepad and we're going to paste it in there. And now just go File, Save As. And I'm in my Interstellar Sandbox folder now. I'm going to go into my game development folder, and I'm going to create a new folder here just to keep it separate. And I'm going to call it Tetris Type Game. And I'm going to call it, so it's going to want to call it a .text file, txt. You want it to be, let's just do Tetris .html, no spaces. So we're just naming it Tetris.html, hit and save. And now we can go to that folder. So here's the folder. And just double click the game, it'll open up a browser. And now we have a fully functional Tetris style game. Just like that. Crazy. And see, the mechanic allowed the block to fall. This would not be a very good mechanic for Tetris because you want those gaps to improve it, to keep the gameplay flowing. This way you're just always guaranteed a Tetris every time. You can just have it fall. I guess there is a little bit of skill involved in not towering them all up in the middle. But as you can see, it's a fully functional game. It's doing pretty much what I asked it to do. Now that you have a base game and you see how it's working and how it's functioning, you can go back and start a new prompt and say, talk to it like it's a person a little bit. This is great, comma, can we, and I'm just going to be kind of general here. If I was making a serious game, I'd be very specific. But I'm going to say, can we add a bomb block that drops, let's just say randomly, when it touches another block, it will explode, destroying a small radius of blocks. Question mark. Enter. And now we wait for the prompt to just run. So this is the process. The process is, in my experience with creating a game, you don't want to tell it too much all at once. You want to first start out with like a general, this is the type of game that I want to make. This is how I want it to function, but don't get into too much detail. Don't focus on like adding every little thing in that first prompt. You want to do this over multiple prompts. And in my experience, I had way more success adding one feature at a time, or 2 features at a time, or 3 features at a time. But if any more than that, it can get jumbled up and it might not give you a desired result. So now that we have it, let's go ahead and let's test it out and see what we got. And like I said, AI is not perfect. Sometimes it will give you exactly what you want. Other times you have to go back and keep tweaking it. So now we're going to go back to Notepad. We're going to paste this in again, and we're going to go to File, Save As. And what I like to do is I like to not save over the top of my previous build. So now we're going to just do Tetris 2, and hit Save. Let's go back to the folder. And let's double click Tetris 2. And let's just play for a minute and see if a bomb will drop. And if it doesn't, then you go back and you tell the AI the bomb never dropped. Okay, so here's our bomb. It dropped randomly. We have control over it, and we can drop it in there, and it blows up a small radius. It worked. Maybe you want it to drop more often than it did. It took a little while before a bomb dropped. I think that was probably a good amount of time, because you don't want bombs dropping all the time. But it worked. So now you can move on to the next step and add the next feature to the game that you want added. See if you like it, and then have it tweak it again to the way that you want it to be. Because the whole point of this is not to just have AI create a random game. The point is to have AI create a game that you have an idea for. So I wanted to share this video with you guys. Give you guys a little bit of a background on developing your own AI games. Hopefully you found value in this video. Hopefully I didn't just waste your time, but I think that it's pretty incredible what you can accomplish by using AI. And with that being said, stay rad and stay retro.